Now, WPG Talk Radio 1450 presents Ask the Mayor. It's your opportunity to ask Atlantic City Mayor Don Guardian anything you want about the world's playground. Brought to you by the New Jersey Casino Reinvestment Development Authority and Municipal Equipment Enterprises on Fire Road in EHT, your New Jersey contract headquarters. To talk to Mayor Guardian, call 407-1450. That's 407-1450. Now, with Atlantic City Mayor Don Guardian, here's Harry Hurley.
Hey, thanks very much. Welcome. What an evening already, and it's only halftime. We have 55 minutes because the Flyers start tonight at 7, Mayor. So if you don't mind, we're going to actually cut out 5 minutes early tonight. Usually
I'll talk fast.
Yeah, we'll make up the 5 minutes on speed talk.
Okay.
So, Mayor, there is so much happening. Mayor, I hope Chris Coleman's listening because I think we're gonna make news. Chris Coleman, are you here? Chris, are you here? We're going to make news tonight on Ask the Mayor, the award-winning Ask the Mayor program. I just feel it in my bones. Mayor, I think in that handsome suit, you have the checkbook. I have $19 and a Chris Coleman business card in my pocket. Are you ready to write the difference? Do you got it?
And, you know, folks, he has the money out in front of him now on the table.
It's on the table. $19 and a Chris Coleman business card says we can settle the Borgata situation. Mayor, on a serious note,
yes,
they want $62.5 million.
They do.
And they wanted it today.
Yes.
But they're not getting it today, are they?
No. So one is, let me start off and say that this is the 69th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge. And if you don't understand the concept there, if you're listening and you're younger, you want to move your army at the same speed. Sometimes one of your flanks moves up ahead. If you don't catch it, they get ahead, they form a bulge, and the enemy can surround them and win. Unfortunately, 69 years ago in Bastogne, as we were marching towards Germany, that's exactly what happened. The American troops retreated. They left the men of the 101st, the Screaming Eagle, behind in Bastogne, and if it's not midnight tonight, then it's sometime tomorrow morning. The Germans had surrounded the town, and they asked for a surrender. And the general of the Screaming Eagles responded nuts. And you know what? 6 months later, we won the war. We marched into Berlin. Yes, indeed. 3 days after that nuts response, George Patton did show up, and we did perceive. So sometimes you got to just hang there and be tough. You got to be alive for the next day. At this point, we don't have the money to give to Borgata. But
so it's not a matter you don't deny they're owed the money. No. They're owed more than that.
They're owed more than that.
But they're not going to get it right now.
Yeah. So, Harry, to break it up easily and stuff, $62 million that they're asking for now is what the court said they have to get. The next $88 million, we were able to get them to agree, so we didn't have to go to court, and they didn't get more than that. And for that $88 million, because we haven't paid them that either, we pay them $150,000 a month. So here's how it looks. We can't pay them, and we cannot go to bond to get that money. And so we need a long-term solution. I can say don't paint the Borgata as just the bad guys. I mean, they want their money, but they are at the table. So our emergency manager and the Borgata, all under a disclosure not to discuss this, are trying to work out a long-term deal where we can pay them, but the period of time is pretty extensive before they receive it.
Had the pilot legislation gone through in its original condition, would that have gone away? Were they agreeing to modify that and mitigate it?
I have to tell you, if the pilot went through 14 months ago, then I don't think our bond rating would have ever changed. True. And so we said, you know what, we owe them the money, we're going to go out to bond, we're going to pay them. So if we had the pilot legislation, it would have gone through there.
Well, I know there's a lot that's going to happen, and you're at the table and both sides are talking, so that's a positive. But what's the ultimate, do you think, fix? Because they're owed the money.
Yeah.
They were overassessed. They deserve to be paid. I think they even said, hey, how about we stop paying taxes, but you're not letting them do that. So it's like they don't get paid and they can't stop paying.
Yeah.
And that doesn't seem fair either.
So it's in the courts right now. What could Borgata win? Well, the courts could say, you absolutely owe them the money. We don't care that you don't have the money. Pay them anyway. And so if you're not going to pay them, then they don't have to pay their taxes. That comes to almost $30 million a year. So that would absolutely cripple us. Or the courts could say, you know what, the Borgata has the right to your checkbook. And as other people pay their taxes, they can take out the $62 million that
it would become
we owe
impossible
them.
to run the town.
So, yeah, that won't happen. So then you bring that B word in. So that has to be at the table, but we are trying
and you know how long I've been asking you about that.
Yes, and we're trying to avoid it because it is bad for everyone.
Now, if you filed for bankruptcy, would the state have to approve it?
Yes.
But they wouldn't approve it, would they?
Well, if they didn't approve, they haven't approved it since 1932.
Right.
Fort Lee's the last town that was able to file bankruptcy. They've always. Camden would have been the last town that actually filed bankruptcy. Their city council and the state had come in and stopped it.
Now, if you filed bankruptcy, they would not get paid, correct?
They would not get – well, what happened is a bankruptcy judge would decide. You know, they come in on like 10 cents on the dollar. Yeah, so maybe –
So it's kind of in their interest to work it out.
No, I'd rather be getting $160 million
Right.
over a long period of time than $16 million.
Right.
And then here's why bankruptcy is bad. It would mean that $16 million, there's another $23 million that's owed to the next door, the vacant piece of property that's MGM. Now, they've agreed to allow us to pay them over a 10-year period. So $2.3 million, that's doable for Atlantic City. If we take the $23 million, we add it to 161, we have $184 million. What it would mean is that if we went bankrupt, court judge is going to decide how much we have to pay, but the county isn't filing for bankruptcy, and they spent 11% of that. So that's about $20 million that county taxpayers would have to pay. Then you got to realize once the city goes into bankruptcy, we don't have to pay any of our bills. We pay our bills the way the court bankruptcy judge tells us.
Would that also dramatically affect all your pensioners?
Whoa, pensioners, 20% of the entire county budget comes from Atlantic City alone. The school board gets their funding from the
so every county tax ratepayer would have a huge tax increase.
Yeah, so that's the first group of people. Then you have to think, Harry, is we're not Detroit. By the way, I'm not putting down Detroit. I made a joke earlier this year. Detroit is doing a great job. They've made a comeback, but they weren't a tourist destination. So I have to ask you, are you going to be nervous about setting up a convention in Atlantic City saying, I hear the bankrupt, they may not even have a police department, or I hear the bankrupt, they don't even clean the street. I don't think it's safe to walk on the street
or the meeting room
boardwalk.
we think we're meeting in might not even be available.
Right.
The meeting room.
Exactly.
We had a great interview this morning with Jim Wood, the president and the chief executive officer of Meet AC.
He's doing a great job,
and
by the way.
They absolutely are doing a great job. And Atlantic City filing bankruptcy, I have always believed, would be terrible for the image.
Yeah. So 5 years down the road, are we out of it with bankruptcy? Sure we are. But those 5 years are going to be terrible, and I don't think you'll get it. What happens, you'll find other destinations to bring your conventions and conferences and other places to go for weekends, and it'll take us forever to get that back. So but we need to be sitting at the table. We need to be negotiating. This is one part of it, is negotiating with Borgata, and then of course the next part is the bills that we're talking about. So Senator Sweeney had presented them. The governor tweaked them. I was sure the Senate was going to vote for it, but actually the Assembly voted for it.
The Assembly did, with the governor's changes.
Yes, with the governor's changes. I'm very grateful for that. So the first couple of days, maybe 4th or 5th, I think, in January, the Senate comes back, and I would I hope that Senate President Sweeney, he's been so supportive of Atlantic City so far, that he would bring this back on, and then the governor would pass it, since the governor already expressed his concerns, and they would be the governor's conditionally vetoed bills.
And that deadline is fast approaching on January 19th.
It is, absolutely. So the governor needs to sign it before that date.
Right to the wire.
Both
of us were recently interviewed by the Philadelphia Inquirer. I didn't know it until I read the article. I knew, of course, I had been interviewed, and then I saw that you were interviewed for the same piece about Revel owner Glenn Straub. What's the latest?
Yeah, so I can say that there's a lot that's changed in the last month with Glenn. he was able to buy the power company, and I understand from our police and fire, as of today, it was turned on. So there's actually power and heat to the building. He did
fire suppression and everything.
Fire suppression.
Beautiful.
He paid his $4.3 million in back taxes, so he's current. I understand that they've reached a negotiation through the courts on the sewer bill, and he's put the money that he owes in escrow. And I believe that he's also made good with the water company. So it's a different situation now. Now I have a gentleman who owns a major piece of property in Atlantic City. I think that we can all agree that we want to see Revel open again because it's going to be creating jobs. It's going to be paying property taxes and then all the other taxes that a hotel or hotel casino could operate. The other thing, Harry, that I think is exciting for the first time is if we look at the Southeast Inlet, if we were talking about just last year, there was no one that was interested other than Burai. Wasim Burai and his dad, Omar, are still trying to build that 250 units of housing, high-end housing, and they tell me that they still see it coming through by the spring of next year. What's changed now is if we talk about billionaire or at least multi-millionaire developers that have a proven record, you have Carl Icahn on the verge of taking over the Taj Mahal. You have Bart Blatstein by the middle of January, maybe a couple of days earlier, be buying the Showboat, announcing what he's doing with that. You have two gentlemen, Jack Morris and Joe Gingoli. They probably are known best, not just for the power plant, but they bought the Garden State Racetrack in Cherry Hill. They demolished it, and they built a pretty impressive development there, both housing, retail, and commercial. And then you have the latest people to the table are Carl Goldberg from Bergen County, along with the Milstein Group that built a lot of the Jersey City waterfront. So all of a sudden, in the last month, you have the big boys in the Northeast, the developers that have a proven record and they have the money to back it, all interested in the Southeast Inlet. So that's with Glenn as well. So there's certainly these other interests are not going to allow the former Revel just to be sitting there. Yeah. We certainly want to encourage Glenn to either open it or to sell it. Either one. I'd be happy for him to make a profit. He certainly has made the property worth a lot more than it was a month ago by solving the energy crisis. But we need to move ahead in the Southeast Inlet as the economy turns around. It's going to be a great development area.
And that power plant, when you have just one client, that is a very challenging situation. And that was a tough nut to crack, and it took a long time.
Yeah. You figured
that was an accomplishment.
Yeah. So either Glenn had to buy the power plant people had to buy Glenn out, and Glenn won that deal, and it's whole once again.
See if you agree with my analysis. Number one, Atlantic City survived casino contraction and a great recession, and you can feel from the number of rooms that are being occupied, the number of meeting events that are coming, a lot of this interest in Atlantic City for mixed-use purpose and different projects that are very, very exciting aren't just talk anymore. They're really things that can and will happen. But now we have an awful Senate bill, hard to believe, and even worse, Assembly bill for 2 casinos in North Jersey. Mayor Don Guardian, what is your stand on what that would do to Atlantic City?
Absolutely disastrous for Atlantic City, but also absolutely disastrous for the state of New Jersey. Too many casinos in the Northeast and 2 more on their way to being built. You can be sure that 2 casinos are going to close somewhere in the Northeast when the 2 new casinos are opened up.
Probably right in Atlantic City.
Oh, let's hope not. I mean, let's hope Delaware or Pennsylvania takes the hit.
But don't you? I mean, look, you know me. I'm an eternal optimist, and you're the best, ambassador for Atlantic City. But I am as bullish on Atlantic City as anybody you will find. But if they open 2 casinos up in North Jersey, it's inconceivable to me that we will not lose casino inventory in Atlantic City.
No question. I can't emphasize that enough. 2 casinos in North Jersey, even 1 casino in North Jersey, and you'll see 2, 3, or 4 casinos close in Atlantic City.
That's my
guess, 3 to 4. With that, all of those jobs. And so as they're saying they're going to throw money down our way for development, what are you going to do with 15,000 60,000 people that are on unemployment. And after you pay them the 6 months of unemployment, what are you going to do with the families? What are you going to do as they have? Look at the foreclosure rate now in South Jersey, Atlantic County in particular. What do you think it'll be with all these jobs? You're only going to create a couple of hundred jobs up in North Jersey. And as I said before, Harry, I'm sure if this bill if the referendum passed, New York State would immediately start building something just above the New Jersey border in the Suffern area, maybe Tuxedo Park, and then in New York City itself in Long Island, and they would eat that new casino, North Jersey. We'd lose the casinos down here. We lose the casinos there. And Harry, we got to talk about, they're saying, well, you're going to give them 50% tax instead of the 8% tax. But, down here they're paying the 1.5% for the IATs. They're paying the sales tax on $1 billion of non-casino business. Everyone pays income tax that works for a casino or makes money on a casino. Then you have the luxury tax, the room tax, the parking tax. All of that's going to be detrimental. That money is not going to flow to the state as well. So you got to look at everything.
Programs,
all the senior citizens programs.
It really is cannibalizing the state's leading industry in a way that I've been using an analogy lately that they basically would be giving Atlantic City a very serious heart condition, but then telling you, don't worry, we're going to give you the best health care that money can buy. It makes no sense.
No, absolutely
Don't
not.
give us the heart attack to begin with.
And, Harry, you're only benefiting two individuals. Yeah. One guy in Jersey City and one guy that owns the racetrack in the Meadowlands and things like that. This is preposterous. I realize that they're multimillionaires or billionaires, but we should not be changing this and destroying people's lives. It just doesn't make any sense. Atlantic City, we had a good year in 2015 in terms of casinos. The 8 casinos stabilized and things. Listen, I think both of us could argue maybe we're going to be 7, maybe one's going to merge with another, but I think we're very close to being profitable once again, and with the profitability comes sustainability, so that you don't have to worry about your job and you don't have to worry about what you're selling to a casino. And now we need to do what Jim was talking about. Let's build up the convention and conference center. I got hopes that the university and a couple of corporate offices and an indoor water park, major indoor water park with a hotel, with the opening of the showboat. That's what we need to do to support the gaming industry that we have.
Mayor, we've got to get a quick break in, but let me just throw this in real quick, and then we can come back if we need more time to it. And to our callers, we'll get to you right after the break. We see you there. 609-407-1450 phone lines are open until the top of the hour, and then we will take you directly to Flyers NHL hockey, WPG Talk Radio 1450, your official home for Philadelphia Flyers hockey. Mayor, what nobody's talking about is if this North Jersey casino ballot referendum of November 8th of 2016 passes, a lot of development that would be coming to Atlantic City would halt the brakes.
Absolutely.
It would change everything.
They'll be frightened.
Yes.
There's no question about it. We have to do our best to fight this referendum. And if I have to spend most of my time in central North Jersey, I'm certainly there.
I think it's the biggest single issue that all of us, citizens, elected officials, everybody alike, we have to beat this question.
Absolutely. We've got to work together. Don't forget, we're going to have some support from the casinos in the Poconos, casinos in New York City now. This isn't just bad for Atlantic City, but it's bad for the state of New Jersey.
And in my column this week, and I know you know this, we haven't talked about it, but I know you know this, there is a group that has been meeting. They're about to launch. They're significant, impressive people, great pedigree, and there is a very serious opposition to this ballot question that this group will be introduced publicly in the very near future.
Yeah, it's a great group. They have the funding. We're already at 56% against gaming outside of Atlantic City.
That's our starting point.
That's our starting point.
But that's before they spend tens of millions of dollars.
Absolutely. So we need to be in the same ball game. We've got to be spending that kind of money too.
Brief timeout. Your calls are next. 609-407-1450 for the award-winning Ask the Mayor program with Atlantic City Mayor Don Guardian. We'll be right back.
WPG Talk Radio 1450 presents Ask the Mayor. It's your opportunity to ask Atlantic City Mayor Don Guardian anything you want about the world's playground. Brought to you by the New Jersey Casino Reinvestment Development Authority and Municipal Equipment Enterprises on Fire Road in EHT, your New Jersey contract headquarters. To talk to Mayor Guardian, call 407-1450. Now, with Atlantic City Mayor Don Guardian, here's Harry Hurley.
Hey, thank you on behalf of Mayor Guardian. Thank you for listening and supporting the program the way that you have. I can't believe it. We're actually in our third year of doing the program, about half of 1 year, the full last year, this year, and into our third year for 2016, and it has just flown by so quickly. I think I speak for many when we process what are the important issues of the day, and almost everybody understands this ballot question being defeated is job one for all of us. And I always, I don't ask you to do something I haven't already done. If you go to shorenewstoday.com, my column is up on the World Wide Web. It will be delivered door to door to door all throughout Atlantic and Cape May counties in the next 3 days to your homes. And it is my opening salvo about beware, the ballot question is coming. They even get an extra week because the first Tuesday in the next election cycle is the first. So whenever the first Tuesday is the first, the election day is not until the second Tuesday. So they even have one more week longer than normal to mobilize on this question. And Mayor, I think I don't ever speak for you, but I think you'll probably agree this is the most important thing. I mean, you got to do your job and everything else and run the town and everything you have to do, but this has to be stopped.
Oh, absolutely. This is the toughest. I mean, we got to find solutions with Bogata. We've got to get the bills passed. Yeah. Then I got to balance the budget again for next year. And then we got to take on North Jersey casinos and things like that. Yeah. Well, we got the force of good.
This is what you thought you signed on to, right?
This is the force of good. And, Darth Vader will always be there. We just got to defend ourselves.
You mean to tell me Star Wars The Force Awakens?
Yes.
It's here?
Absolutely.
Oh, my God. What character is Sweeney? Yeah. You're on the air. Welcome. Your question for Mayor Guardian begins right now.
Good evening, Mayor Guardian. I never had the pleasure of meeting you, but hope to someday. I'm next door to you, and I love the beach. I absolutely love it. Moved all around the place and ended up down the shore, which I always loved.
Me too.
My question to you is, what's the possibility of having some industry, casinos, in my heart, I wish they did make it, but maybe it's seen its better day. I was wondering, why can't we go back to making something or some things back here in southern New Jersey?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The height of the gaming time for Atlantic City is over. We need to reinvent ourselves. The easy task that we're doing now is we're a destination resort. And so, what Jim Wood is doing with bringing conventions and conferences back is excellent. That's short term. You'll see with City Council on Wednesday that they'll be awarding a contract for 6 beach concerts next year. 50,000 people, something like that, brings in a lot of money for Atlantic City. It's a good venue. The air show is set. The
Insane Inflatables is set.
Yeah, Insane Inflatables. We got the triathlon. We've got the fireworks every Saturday, thanks to Tropicana next year. Those are good things. The Calling Center that's building up to 300 now, on the way to 1,000 employees, is perfect for Atlantic City. South Jersey Industries should be able to announce that they're breaking ground in the spring down on Albany Avenue. Another couple of hundred of corporate office jobs that'll be coming to Atlantic City. That's important. We have 11 acres that we're shopping with the state of New Jersey. Right as you leave Atlantic City on Route 40, where the windmills are, Atlantic City actually owns those 11 acres, and we'd like to see some light industry. Probably having a product made somewhere else in the world but assembled here, so there'd be no pollution involved, but it would create, again, another 300-400 jobs. All of these are where Atlantic City needs to move.
Mayor, let me push back on one thing, because I would agree that we're not a $5.2 or $5.3 billion industry anymore as we were in 2006. But at the end of 2014, it was still a $2.8 billion industry, and that ain't small change.
Right, exactly.
That's significant.
No question about it. We want to make sure that the gaming properties that we have now stay healthy, and certainly for the most part, they've stepped up with the clubs, with the spas, with the new restaurants, with more entertainment. They know that you're coming there for a full experience, not just gaming. And some people aren't even gaming now. They're coming for everything else.
And that is what a lot of the neighboring jurisdictional competition does not have.
Right. So right now we're a full destination. We're real resorts, and of course in the better weather, the beach and the ocean.
Lillian, thanks for checking in. Let us move on. 609-407-1450, an open phone line. Mayor, I understand that Atlantic City is planning a MUA, Municipal Utilities Authority, rate increase. Is that on the table?
It has not been approved by the authority yet, their budget.
Does it look like it's going in that direction?
Well, we're talking about the water company, the MUA.
Yes.
It's just what I've read myself. Don't forget, they don't report to the city. We don't have any authority, and there's no question
they may in the not-too-distant future.
All your readers know that. Yeah, and I've just we're finalizing a white paper for City Council so they can review and see all of the concerns that we have. And
is this still trending, heading towards the fact that this will come under directly the city?
That is what we're working on, yes. And a guarantee of no price rate increases for residential customers and a lot of other things. Commercial customers are going to be paying more.
Is that a 2016 proposition?
Yeah, it has to be 2016. And it's how, we're at a point where we become pretty efficient as a city. Several hundred less people, the $45 million less. We're going to have less spending next year, but we have to find new ways of income. And so, you're going to be limited. I think this is one of them. Certainly, you'll see a whole new parking utility set up. We have RFPs that are going out now that you're going to have to pay for parking when you're going to the beach, and certainly we're going to go back into the RFP to see if we can build a solar field on Duck Island as you're leaving the city. So those are some areas that we see some additional revenue for the city because we know that taxpayers are overburdened.
Mayor, this is going to be a compliment feathered into a rather tough question because obviously from the day you became mayor, the challenges of your office, they've been off the charts. I mean, you knew you thought you knew what you had signed up for. It's so beyond, I think, anything that any human could ever have imagined in terms of scope and challenge. And the compliment is that you don't shirk your responsibility. You take responsibility. You're not afraid to address the tough issues. If you don't have an answer on the spot, you get back to folks. It's all part of why I believe you have been extremely successful under tremendous pressure. I can't even imagine what the day-to-day pressures of that job must be like with every day some other major significant issue and this is all a ripple effect. It's not like you can totally compartmentalize even because one directly affects the whole picture. So it's very, very, it's like dominoes. You tip one down and away they go. Go try to stop it while they're flying all over the place. So there's the compliment. The tough question is, do you have a handle on the near future from a financial standpoint with so many of these unknowns? The huge amount owed to Borgata, other things. How are you able to even process? Is this literally survival mode? You get past 1 year, but it can't be just, all right, we got past this year, but I don't know what the hell we're going to do next year. This has to be a lot of forward thinking, doesn't it?
Yes. And Harry, I can tell you the emergency manager, Kevin Lavin, and certainly the Ernst & Young team, that's exactly what they came in and what they're helping us with. It was, certainly addressing 2015, but then looking to 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. That's really the time frame that we're working on for Atlantic City. And yes, there are 50 balls that we're juggling all at the same time. Some of them we've met. We've reduced budget. We've reduced the amount of staffing. We've got $38 million that the state is now providing for the city like they're doing to other cities. $38 million they're giving to the schools like they're giving other urban schools that money. Certainly the $21.5 million from SAFER grant from the federal level to help with firefighters, a serious reduction in cost for firefighters, and you'll see a very similar situation with our PBA because they understand what needs to be done. Then we needed these bills to be passed so that more income from casinos are coming directly to Atlantic City. Then we had to stop the casinos from being able to do tax appeals because that's killed us over the last 5 years. And then we've got to be building new means of income in Atlantic City, some of which we'll do with government, but others really it's only going to be businesses that are moving in, new hotels, opening up the hotels that we have. So you got to be doing this all at the same time, and we do see a very logical long-term approach, and I think that's what you'll see when they finally produce the emergency manager's report, that if you're looking for that magic answer that we're going to sell this and all of our problems go away, it's not going to be like that.
Even if they sold the MUA,
it's a six.
That's blowing the money in 5 years. That would have been disastrous.
It is disastrous.
Totally,
it makes no sense.
No.
Water is an incredible commodity. Yep. We're very lucky to have it. We cannot sell or lease it.
Wally is going to be next. One of your guest listeners, 609-407-1450. Let me follow up on something that I have been hearing from very well-placed sources. I will go as far as to say not from the mayor's office, but sources that I trust. Mayor, is there any truth to what I've been told, and that's that money that will be coming, quote-unquote, to Atlantic City is going to go to a private entity and not directly to the city? Is there any truth to that?
Yeah. So, Harry, the only statement that I can tell you is that a statement that Senator Sweeney had made. Are we talking about if there's a North Jersey casino?
Yep.
Yeah. So the senator said if there's a North Jersey casino, not a penny's going to go to Atlantic City directly. So I think it's
all the more reason to fight it with all our might.
Yeah,
it's just terrible.
Yeah, there's no question. We don't want money to begin with. We just don't want casinos outside of Atlantic City. I think the senator has gone through a very stressful period of time. And I think he's certainly referring over 35 years of casino gambling, both the public and private sector here has not done well in moving our city forward. And he's very frustrated with what's going on as well. The answer, though, is no casinos outside of North Jersey, not where some fictitious money is going to come to.
609-407-1450, an open phone line. Wally, you're on the air for Mayor Don Guardian. Go right ahead.
Yes, Mayor, did that Mr. Strout, did he offer $550 million for Battlefield?
No one has offered that kind of money. I can tell you, Wally, if someone offered $550 million, myself, and I can guarantee the 9 other elected officials that a city council member in a flash would be selling Bader Field. Because what we would do is we would wipe out our entire debt, and we probably, as the original plan was, the first $100,000 of your home ownership, you wouldn't pay a dime in taxes for.
Incidentally, we have Senator Jim Whalen to thank for this as well. Penn Gaming offered almost $1 billion, $900 and some odd million for Bader Field, and Jim Whalen stopped it. It was the greatest favor ever done for Penn Gaming. That, you imagine, Mayor, what that would have done for Atlantic City in perpetuity.
There hasn't been any offers other than that, or
no. There was no offers at all. People have come in and said that it's worth $100 or $150 million, but no one's willing to pay that. What they want is they want to have exclusive use to develop it, and they want to wait 4 or 5 years before they start any payment to us. That's why the idea of just using it short term for these recreation fields makes some sense. At some point, the Bader Field is going to be a very, very valuable piece of real estate in Atlantic City. And when that period of time comes, it'll solve the other problems that the city has, and including a serious reduction in taxes. It's just not there yet.
Wait your time.
You got to wait for it. Now it would be a terrible fire sale.
Be a short-term bad move. Wally, thank you for the call.
Thanks, Wally.
You got it. We're going to take a brief time out. 609-407-1450. Phone lines are open. One more power segment, as always is the case. The award-winning Ask the Mayor program flies by. We're approaching 42 minutes past the hour, and we do have an open phone line at 609-407-1450. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
WPG Talk Radio 1450 presents Ask the Mayor. It's your opportunity to ask Atlantic City Mayor Don Guardian anything you want about the world's playground. Brought to you by the New Jersey Casino Reinvestment Development Authority and Municipal Equipment Enterprises on Fire Road in EHT, your New Jersey contract headquarters. To talk to Mayor Guardian, call 407-1450. Now, with Atlantic City Mayor Don Guardian, here's Harry Hurley.
Hey, thanks. Welcome back. First time this hour, we actually have open phone lines, 609-407-1450, if you would like to pose your question to Atlantic City Mayor Don Guardian. It is the award-winning Ask the Mayor, presented by the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority and Municipal Equipment Enterprises. Mayor Guardian, in terms of 2015, let's talk a little bit about it, because although the big headlines are always the challenge and who's owed money and how many cuts are being made and all this, 2015 was a remarkable year for the world's playground.
Yeah, so you saw casinos stabilize, actually show a profit again. A great summer season, great concerts as well. You can say that you don't like how we report unemployment, but it's something that you actually can rate. It's apples to apples. And dropping 8% from a high of 18 to a little over 10% is really great news. We hit just under 400 people now that we found jobs. That's people that are walking into City Hall. There were two guys that walked in today and stuff. Eric Reynolds doing a great job there. We went from the beginning of the year where everyone told me that I should be buying them new shocks because the streets are so bad, to now everyone telling me that people are driving too fast because half the roads have been repaved. And that's through some federal grants, yes, and it's through South Jersey Gas and it's through CRDA. The point is that I don't have any money, but that doesn't mean we're not going to fix things there.
You find ways to get things done.
Yeah, and I think you'll see, the LED lighting that we started on Georgia and Bellevue and Texas Avenue is going to continue throughout the city. Police department, incredible job reducing use of force and the reduction of crime this year.
Violent crime is down in Atlantic City.
Violent crime is down. Every level of crime is down, and the number of internal affairs have dropped drastically. I think it's almost 70%. That's 70. It's just unbelievable. So a real connecting with the community by our police force. And again, you always hear me talking very favorably about Henry White and the great job that he's done in 2 years with a difficult situation. And with few officers and with less money, all of that and things, but really bringing us up to world standards. And then, like I said, next year we're looking for exciting things by the springtime. So whether we're talking about the university finally breaking ground, or South Jersey Industries, or Bart Blatstein and his plans, I know that he's got someone coming in to take over the clubs on the pier. So that's very exciting news. And all of that, I think, is the future. And then, as I told you, we think we'll announce on Wednesday that we have a major producer that's going to be bringing in 6 major events to the beach for great beach concerts next year.
Great. People love that. I mean, you think about there's intrinsic value. You can do easily a P&L, show the return on investment, and also the great publicity that Atlantic City gets.
So a Thursday and a Sunday, same week, event brings in $22 million. I mean, it's very, very good for the economy and things. We know that.
Great exposure.
Families, younger people, great exposure. People have a good time. So it's the new. It's that millennials that we're looking for. And
when people are looking to book events and meetings and things, if they see that the vibe in Atlantic City is really very, very vibrant and that it is solid and it is a great destination resort market, these events pay additional dividends that don't necessarily show up on that P&L or the return on investment analysis.
Yeah, certainly, Harry. And then, because of the taxes and other issues there, the price of homes have really dropped to an unbelievably low level. But we're finally seeing homes being sold. And I don't know how you could not. 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath with a garage for about $125,000.
It's unbelievable.
And on $125,000, your taxes are under $4,000. So, I mean, everything is relevant and things. And these homes were selling at $300,000, $325,000 5-6 years ago. So
are you confident?
Some bright spots.
I mean, I know that and I hate to put it this way because I know this North Jersey casino thing is just an awful like albatross hanging overhead, because without that, I think we could easily say Atlantic City not only is turning the corner, Atlantic City turned the corner, and we stabilized, and we survived a Great Recession. We survived contraction. Without that, I think it's all systems go without the threat of these North Jersey casinos.
Yeah, I think by the end of the summer, September, is we hit low and we're moving on forward and stuff. But we've got to fight the North Jersey casino because we'll continue to grow, but we can't take that type of competition. We can take the competition that'll happen with the two casinos that they're building in Pennsylvania and down in Maryland and things, but a North Jersey casino just can't be done. And again, it's the Constitution that we picked. We said we don't care if you have casinos in Atlantic City. We don't want them anywhere else in New Jersey.
Yeah, now they want them.
Yeah, now you want them.
Leave it that way. Leave it how you said it for 40 years.
That's right.
It was just fine. Because Philadelphia Live is coming on board 60 miles away, closest casino ever to Atlantic City.
Right.
That's going to be late this year or early next year. And if we have two popping up in North Jersey, we just can't have that.
Right, absolutely.
609-407-1450. Al is standing by in Atlantic City. You're on with Mayor Guardian. Go right ahead, Al.
Yeah, the emphasis on discouraging North Jersey casinos is trying to, change the minds of the politicians and the minds of the people that are investing into those casinos. But I think we really have to go after the citizen of North Jersey. And are there infrastructure ready for this? Is there traffic and be able to handle the inflow of business? And are there security set up so that they can be prepared for all?
Hey, Al, let me jump in before the mayor has a crack at this because I believe this very, very much. Key leaders in this area, not just elected officials, key leaders can be in very, very different classifications. Casino executives, people in other industries. People are going to have to be prepared to go on the road show and to go speak before groups and take questions and take this on the road because they're going to have tens of millions of dollars to make this the panacea. And they're going to say, and please, don't worry about Atlantic City because we are absolutely taking care of them. This is great for the whole state. They've got a story, Mayor, that they're going to try to tell.
I just wanted to agree with Al.
Yeah.
The transportation network is falling apart in Jersey City right now. Pulaski Skyway is 100 years old. If you try to get to the area that they're talking about where they built the Liberty ships and things, it's almost impossible to get to. It's the same entrance as the Holland Tunnel. It's back-to-back traffic 24 hours a day. Adding a casino there is going to be impossible on the roadways. It's a real good point that you're making, Al. And all you got to do is try to take Route 3 out of the Lincoln Tunnel at rush hour, and you know how difficult it is to get out to Giant Stadium. So the roadways are already overpacked in North Jersey. Certainly not going to be able to handle gaming.
Hey, thanks, Al. We're going to get two more questions in, at least for the mayor, two more callers in the last 6 minutes of tonight's program. In case you're just tuning in, we're cutting out tonight at exactly 7 with interest and respect to the Philadelphia Flyers, who are going to come right on after Mayor Guardian. This program will re-air in its entirety this Saturday in the 1 o'clock hour. Congressman Lobiando will be in the 12 noon hour as a part of the Sunday, 12 noon to 4 p.m. Hurley in the Morning Best Of package that Chris Coleman puts together. We're going to go now to Craig. How are you, Craig? Your question for Mayor Guardian.
Yes, and Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Craig.
You're welcome. And, Mayor, who would want to be in your seat? I disagree with you, and I agree with you. I agree with you that in no way, shape, or form can we have North Jersey casinos. And with that being said, we will have to fight that. Very, very difficult. My big thing is I'm watching casinos have gone bankrupt and have risen again in Atlantic City. And let's just take what is now called the Gold Nugget that used to be the Trump Castle. That property went bankrupt. And it's doing very, very well. It has lower debt. It's watching its expenses, and it's showing a profit. And if we look at what the owner of that property said is that Atlantic City doesn't have a income problem. It has a spending problem. And when we look at what we have, in what is Las Vegas, his property in Las Vegas. He does less business in Las Vegas and profits more in Las Vegas than he does in Atlantic City. And so, Mayor, what I'm saying to you is that with that being said by a very astute businessman, a person that owns an enormous amount of restaurants, several casinos, and he's tough, and, you know, he really does care about the bottom line, how can we keep kicking down, you know, the can down the road with the pensions that you're not paying? And like this MGM, I'm sure that they're going to have their land over there. They're going to appeal that. They're going to want some money back. What you owe the Borgata. I mean, I do feel sorry for you, Mayor, but I think that if the city did go bankrupt, and you're saying image, but we can't have worse of an image than what we've been seeing on the debates of the Republican Party talking about Atlantic City. So I just think that if we got out of bankruptcy and rose again, you would have a lot less debt, a lot more manageable of a product, and I think that the casinos would be a lot healthier because they wouldn't have all that debt that they have to pay.
All right, let's give the mayor an opportunity to answer, Craig, so that we can also get Stephen's call in next because we promised to get him on.
Craig,
Go,
there's no doubt you make a very good point about bankruptcy and things. We're going to shed about $350 million worth of debt, and we're going to be okay. We're trying to do it without declaring bankruptcy because we think it's going to be a bad couple of years for Atlantic City because of the image being worse than we have it now. And I just want to tell you, you know, Tillman Fertitta and what he did with Golden Nugget, absolutely marvelous. $100 million. It's a fun place. It has the hottest nightclubs for young people and for the baby boomers. I mean, they absolutely love it. Did a great job. And whether you're going to the Chart House or you're going over to the steakhouse and stuff, you feel really good. It's a great job, and they're doing very well.
Thank you, Craig. 2 minutes left in the program. Stephen, you're on the air with Mayor Don Guardian. Go right ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. This is Stephen Moore, councilman in the 3rd Ward.
Councilman.
Hey, Stephen. Hey, councilman.
You know, we don't really screen the calls. We just get a first name, and he said Stephen. You can prove, councilman, we don't screen the calls because I didn't know it was you until I heard your voice.
This has been so informative, and the reason I'm saying this is because the minute details that have been explained tonight are things that folks need to hear and they need to understand. And I'm asking the mayor to put this on channel 97.
How about that?
So that we can hear it over and over and over. I'd rather listen to this over and over and over again than to see a football game.
Well, let me tell you right now, this is very simple to do. Chris Coleman already has asked the congressman from tonight, an hour ago. It was streaming within minutes after it was completed. This will also be streaming at WPG.com, WPG1450.com in its entirety, and certainly Atlantic City could jip it right from WPG1450.com. And I do believe that's why this program, Councilman Moore, is statewide award-winning. We dethroned the perennial Ask the Governor as the best of the best program in the entire state for programs just like this, Councilman.
But, you know, I've said this since I was elected, that one of the things that we need to do is tell people over and over and over again. They may not like it, but at least they'll hear it. These are the good things that are going on in Atlantic City, because what we hear about and what we see and what the propaganda says is that we're doing badly.
Councilman, the music is playing us out, and we're leaving 5 minutes early. I want to give the mayor a closing comment.
Yeah, I just want to thank Councilman Moore for his years of service to Atlantic City. He'll be departing on December 31st, and thank you very much, Councilman. To everyone on 1450 AM Talk Radio WPG, want to wish you a happy and holy Christmas holiday, a happy New Year, a very happy Kwanzaa, health for everyone there. Harry, I can't believe we've been doing this for 2 years. Last one. I have a feeling January will certainly have lots of things to talk about. Thanks, as Mayor. Well. God bless.
Philadelphia Flyer starts right now, and I will see you in just a few hours for Hurley in the Morning. Until then.